London is not UK and UK is not London. So London is just a part of the UK, which is the United Kingdom. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shabaki. If this is the first time you're joining me on this channel, you are most welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, I so much appreciate you. So many times we call home, for those of us coming from Africa, like myself, you call home and you're chatting with friends and they go like, so how is London? And you go like, I don't live in London. And the conversation goes on and they ask you again, so how is everything in London? And you go like, no, I don't live in London. Well, so up until just some few months ago, I had never been to London City, right? So you may be wondering, how did you get to the United Kingdom if you didn't come through London Heathrow Airport? Well, I did come through Heathrow Airport, but what you see from Heathrow is really nothing compared to what you actually see when you go to those, great places that we've heard much about before coming to the United Kingdom. Today, I just want to share just a little about the United Kingdom with you. So, the United Kingdom is a kingdom, right? An island, I would say, made up of four nations, which is Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and England. And the capital of England is the famous London that we all know about and we've all heard about, right? That we are all familiar with before stepping in the United Kingdom. And I know that if you haven't been here, you wouldn't know much about the other nations, not so much about them. But for London, we are also familiar with that. We've heard a lot about that. So today, just a quick lesson here and there about the United Kingdom. The Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, is the one who is sort of overall, right? And the head of state of the United Kingdom is the King Charles III. And the various nations, which are called the devolved nations, have what we call the first ministers. So every one of them have their own first minister in charge of their nation. So over here in Scotland, we have our first minister as Nicole Sturgeon, but we are going to get a new one very soon because she is resigning. So one thing you realize about the United Kingdom is that although it is one kingdom, there are slight differences in how things are done, how things are, carried out in the various nations. For instance, when we take the education system like this, right, although it's similar, when you come to the various nations, they have slightly different ways of how they categorize the various, classes, the ages at which you maybe start primary school. There are those slight differences, and also the governing bodies for education are also set by the various nations, right? So that is one of the differences over there. And I've already spoken about how the education system works over here in the United Kingdom in one of my videos, so you can check that out later. So that is one area that you can see some differences when it comes to the United Kingdom. Over here in Scotland, when it comes to maternity, when you are pregnant as a woman, you are given what we call the baby box, which has some real goodies for mom and baby. And also I've had a video on this particular baby box, right, where I reviewed what was in the baby box that I received. So you can check out that video. I'll put it in the comment box so that you can check it out later. So now let's look at language. When you come to the United Kingdom, English is the main language that all the four nations speak. But then some of the nations have other languages. For instance, in Wales, they have the Welsh language that is speak, and most people in Wales are able to speak also, right? And then when you go around the whole, nation, you would see that their inscriptions on their signboards, on their public buildings, whatever is written in English is also written in the Welsh language. So they really, speak it. Even in their parliament, they speak the Welsh language over there. I think they use it, um, as much as they use the English language. And when you come to Scotland, also, there is the Gaelic language, right? Which I don't really see it as so prominent over here, but it's one of their languages that they speak apart from the English language. And then when you go to Northern Ireland, they have Irish as one of their official languages. So it is English and then Irish language. And when it comes to the English language, right, there are also accents associated with that. So I know that most of us, well, for me coming from Ghana, I believe that we used to hear more of the English, if you know what I mean. That is the English from England. That is what we are much familiar with, and even during our oral English and all that, that is the kind of English that we get to listen to when we are studying and all that. But upon getting here, you would realize that there are different accents. Even the northern part of England, their English is slightly different than the southern part of England. And then, of course, when you come to Scotland, you go to Wales, you go to Northern Ireland, you realize that their English is a bit, different. And if you are not careful, you may not even understand some of them, the English that they are speaking. Yes. So you realize that although they are speaking English, you don't really understand it because, of course, they have other languages they speak apart from the English language, and that influences their English language. So some of them speak and you don't really, get what they are speaking. It passes by and you're not sure, what did I hear? Was it English I heard or another language that I'm hearing, right? So that is it. I know if you're not living here in the United Kingdom, you may not be aware of that because I didn't really know that even with the English language over here in the United Kingdom, there were differences. I only knew that, okay, the English in United Kingdom is different from the English in, let's say, the US, right? That was all I knew. I didn't know that within the United Kingdom, the English that they spoke, had differences in it or different accents to it, right? So just because I live in Scotland, I'll give you extra things about Scotland. One of the traditional meals of Scotland is haggis, right? And it's made of liver and other parts of the inside of the animal, which is blended together and spices added, and it is real good. Yeah. The men also wear the kilt, which is a skirt which is made of the tartan material. That is their sort of traditional wear for the men. So you can see the men during maybe their wedding ceremony or special occasions wearing that kind of skirts made of that material. One other thing also that I realized over here in the United Kingdom is that the further away you go from London, the less opportunities you have with regards to maybe certain jobs. For instance, when you take something like architecture, I realized that most of the opportunities that were coming up in my search were found in England and especially towards London, right? So most of the job opportunities are in London, but of course, it is so expensive living in London. The cost of living is not that high when you are away from London. Towards London is so expensive, but away from it is a bit better. Yeah, a bit, better than being within London. So that is it, the pros and the cons of, wanting to live in London and also living away from London. Of course, when it comes to childcare, also it will be much more expensive when you are closer to London or in London. But away from it, it is much more better, and especially in the other developed nations, also it gets, I think, much better or much cheaper, maybe, when it comes to maybe childcare as compared to living in London or in England. Some of the famous places that are in the United Kingdom. So we know of Oxford Street, we know of London Bridge, we know of the London Eye. They are all found in London, which is in England. Universities such as Heriot-Watt University is in Scotland. We have University of Glasgow, University of Edinburgh. We have University of Ulster, which is in Northern Ireland. We have Bangor University, which is in Wales. So whenever you call someone in the United Kingdom, don't ask, how is London? Instead, you can ask, how is the UK? Or if you know the specific nation the person is, then you ask, how is, let's say, Scotland? How is Wales? How is Northern Ireland? How is England? This is what I have for you today, all about UK. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you have not already done so. Till we meet again, keep safe, and it's bye for now.